Well, it happened again. The Fed cuts and rates shoot higher. Very interesting times. Again, rates, if you haven't checked this morning, and I just did, are up again. They went up massively yesterday, and then they are going up again today. Mortgage rates are solidly above 7%. Yesterday coming in at 7.13, and frankly, today likely going to 7.2 or thereabouts. So what really happened yesterday? Why the big sell-off? Why are rates rising? Is it good? Is it bad? All kinds of stuff to go through. I also have a lot of Powell quotes that we will review. But let me set the stage right now for the next couple of weeks. The next couple of weeks, we will undoubtedly have something like, 5 to 10 Fed speeches. And what I would be looking forward to in these Fed speeches from these independent Fed presidents is who is talking about perhaps a neutral rate with a 4 handle on it versus who thinks a neutral rate will have a 3. That's going to be probably the most important question going forward, because if they expect the neutral rate to have a 4 on it, we could frankly be done, right? The federal funds rate today sits at 4.5. If they think it has a 3 on it, we could still certainly have a couple of cuts. Second, something that I feel really good about is I kept harping on the idea that the Fed will cut, but they should not cut. One of the things that you heard in Powell's speech is it was a close call. I actually believe that the Fed was caught with their forward guidance. One of the things that Powell has, frankly, prided himself on was clearly communicating to the market what was coming. And I think at this meeting, it bit him in the ass. I believe Powell and the team wanted to pause, but they looked at what they'd done to the market. They looked at the 96 to 98% chances of a rate cut and realized, or at least felt like, they couldn't do it. And then after giving the cut, they came out and were, as expected, very, very hawkish, right? What does hawkish mean? Well, the Fed previously talked about in September 4 cuts in 2025. Now they are talking 2. In fact, when you look at what's called the dot plot, there was one Fed president out of 19 who said no cuts in 2025. And actually 3 Fed presidents said there would only be 1. Again, you've heard that story before. You've heard it here on this channel. I believe there is very, very likely that there will be 0 cuts for the first 2 quarters, so through June. And if we are going to have any cuts, they come in the second half. I've been talking about for months now that there will be a non-zero chance of 0 rate cuts in 2025, and feeling pretty good about that call. They also took their inflation reading or expectation from in September. They thought it would come down to 2.1. They are now giving up, saying it's 2.5. That's a big jump. That is a big jump. They think PCE will be 2.5 by the end of 2025, folks. That's like 13 months away. They realize that inflation is going to be stickier and a harder thing to beat. In fact, they now say that inflation will be over 2%. You can't make this stuff up. Through 2026. So let me get this right. You think inflation is going to get worse. You don't think unemployment's going to go all that higher, and you cut rates? I mean, it just doesn't logically make sense to me. But hey, there we go. The Fed cut. The Fed got hawkish. Short-term rates went down. Long-term rates went up. I mean, yeah, mortgage rates. Woo! Mortgage rates flew. Can't wait to talk to Convoy Holmes and Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage later today. It's going to be interesting. So let's review a couple of quotes, actually several quotes I got from Powell yesterday. Again, the one I talked about earlier, quote unquote, today was a closer call, but we decided it was the right call. Powell, you're just wrong, buddy. It was not the right call. You should have had the backbone. You should have had a pause. It was an easy story. You could have simply said pause. We're going to wait for the new administration. We're going to wait to see what, if anything, comes with tariffs. And oh, by the way, if we need it, we have that quarter point in our back pocket. We could use it in January. We could use it in March, whatever the next meetings are. But because you are stuck on forward guidance, you trapped yourself. Sort of like when you're painting a bedroom and you get in that corner and you got nowhere to go until the paint dries. Congratulations, you did that. We did have one dissenting vote. Again, remember, Michelle Bowman was the first Fed president to dissent at the last meeting. We now have Fed President Hammack. She dissented on a rate cut. She would prefer a pause. So again, a not everybody voted for a rate cut. We did have one dissent. So here are some quotes I noted. There were probably others. Again, today was a closer call. We talked about that. Rate hike does not appear likely next year. Powell, you just told us inflation is going to get worse in your expectation. And you're putting it out there that a rate hike does not appear likely. That would be the worst case scenario. Let's be clear. A Fed going through 100 basis points in cuts, chooses the pause, and the next move is higher. Not good. Not good. We won't settle for above 2% inflation. Well, Jerome Powell, based on what you guys are talking about, you will be out of office before we get there. Guys, I believe his term ends in the middle of 2026. And as I said earlier, inflation is expected to be over 2% till the end of 2026. Oh, this is a good one. This one actually made me chuckle. People are feeling the pressure of high prices, not high inflation. The reason that made me chuckle is because it's technically accurate, but it also is technically nonsense. The average consumer sees the higher prices and blames inflation. It's cute that the Fed president is like, hey, that thing was more expensive last year too, and we've actually had disinflation and yada yada. Powell, you're not speaking to the everyman. That was an unwise statement, in my opinion. We still have work to do on inflation. Yeah, no kidding. You just raised your expectation from 2.1 to 2.5. We have to weigh a softer labor market against sideways inflation. That's a tell. Folks, that's a tell. If he's playing poker, he just told you his tell. I think he's telling us all that the job market is much worse than the headlines would lead. He's also telling us he's going to choose the job market over inflation. He and his peers are willing to let inflation run in the twos if he has to save the job market. So that is a tell, in my opinion. It might take over 2 years to get to 2%. Crazy. We think the policy is still meaningfully restrictive. That was a hint, a clue about where he thinks the neutral rate is. Again, I think he thinks neutral rate is something with a 3 on it. I think it's something with a 4, but we will find out more and more over the next couple of weeks as more Fed presidents talk to the press. Job creation is below the level to keep jobless rate steady. Hint, hint, the unemployment rate will go higher. Again, I think it is very clear that the job market is now front and center. They think they have a handle on inflation. They won't let it run. But yes, I think there is a lot of stuff coming, a lot of potential negative news in the job market. Something else that happened yesterday that I think we're going to have to look at is the dollar ripped. I actually didn't check this morning, but given that rates are up again, it's probably no surprise that the dollar would be even stronger. We need to look at the yen and other currencies that are weakening. The delta between the dollar and other countries is eventually going to be a problem. We did get some earnings and some guidance yesterday that will be interesting to follow up. First off, Micron. Micron gave a very weak guidance, which could talk about what's going on with chips and cell phones and the like. And Lennar, I think they're the second largest home builder, actually came out with some very, very weak guidance. They're basically going to be taking some significant hits on margin to sell homes. Again, we're talking mortgage buy down and the like, and that's not going to get any cheaper, right? Since their quarter closed, rates are up again, and I think they're up a quarter point just in almost the last 2 days. So expect builders to keep having to do buy downs to move product. More buy downs mean lower EPS, earnings per share. Again, one of the things that I just want to throwing out there, trying to keep the good karma going, is I think companies like Lennar need to find a way to make it profitable to build smaller footprint homes. We haven't had a national focus on entry-level housing since the 70s, and that is not okay. Perhaps the deregulation that is going to be coming in the future could focus on entry-level housing. Wouldn't that be nice? I noted down here that the 30-year mortgage yesterday closed at 7.13. Again, I think it will be up today. It'll probably go to 7.2 or thereabouts. Pretty crazy. Shout out Lance Lambert at Resi Club. He shared this yesterday on Twitter or X. Looks like Franklin Templeton, ING Bank, actually thinks the 10-year could go to 5% next year. Today, I think it's at like 4.6. So again, going up, let's call it 10% thereabouts. That going to 5% in 2025 would mean mortgage rates at a minimum are 7.75, but likely have an 8 handle. Think about that, right? We're at 7.2. If Franklin Templeton is right, we're going to the high 7s, potentially the low 8s. Remember, who told you that mortgages are going to average 7% in 2025? This guy did. Again, it is coming. Not to be outdone, Franklin Templeton, T. Rowe Price came out with a head scratcher. This one surprised me. They actually think the 10-year will be 6%. 6%. Folks, if the 10-year note gets to 6% in 2025, we might be looking at 9% mortgages. 9. Woo! That'd be a problem. And also remember, folks, something else I've been telling you, this just came to me. Sorry. Right turn. I've been telling you for a while that I expect 2025 to be the last hard year for transactions. We get that 8 or 9% mortgage rate, and I am going to be so right. We're going to go significantly below 4 million. Again, it doesn't mean the prices will crash. It just means transactions will go down. So the couple of questions that I have as we kind of move forward is, where is the neutral rate? That is what I'll be listening to from the Feds. I, again, think no cuts in 2025 is possible. If we do get in any, it will be in the second half. It's going to be another hard year. I don't know how else to say it. However, if you watch this channel, a little bit of ray of sunshine, the only people that are going to dominate in 2025 with 7, 8, or 9% mortgage rates is us. I don't know. I mean, it's terrible to say, but the only people that are going to win next year are people who do the work, who write disrespectful offers, who make sure any purchase cash flows day one, the people who understand how to use seller financing as a first or a second, people that use the 50, 40, 10 from Velocity Mortgage for, 10% down, 90% leverage loans. We're going to be able to pick up deals. And oh, by the way, again, right turn. If we have 7 or 8% or 9% mortgage rates, I just thought of this. Let's just say we have 8% mortgage rates. Banks are going to crush commercial real estate. This extend and pretend that they were on, that was only because they thought rates were going down. If rates go up another 100 basis points, all that Class B and Class C multifamily that I've been researching and networking on, that stuff's going to start going on the market. That stuff's going to be going on the market. So that's really interesting. I see that Mark wants a Sunny update. I could do that. He's always with me, right? I'm in my second studio. He follows me around. Let me get him. Hey, Sonny. I know you're sleeping. Oh, come here. This guy. Hi, Sonny. Hi, guys. This is Sonny. He's the smaller of the 2 Shih Tzus we have. Yeah. So I'll try to do the rest of this with him on my lap. So again, the 2025 7-8% mortgage rates, great for us. Seller financing, lead follow-up, disrespectful offers, all of that stuff. I do want to highlight some great things that we are doing here. It's too hard to do this. He's really tired. Couple of things to do. I just want to remind you about what we're building here at One Rental at a Time. Remember, we have that in-person event in Vegas, 15th and 16th. I love to see you there. I'm working on it every day. If you're in a relationship, you got to get there. I have a special focus on couples. If you are just starting out, I can't imagine you would be anywhere else. Most events in real estate are just meant to either A, be all raw, or B, meant to take your money. You're not going to see that at One Rental at a Time. We are not just going to fly in a bunch of raw people to get you excited. We are not going to have anybody do back of the room sales. In fact, every speaker in the agenda is out on Eventbrite. They will go for about half the time, and then we will have a microphone on the sidelines where you can ask questions. I cannot imagine a better place for somebody starting out. Also, maybe you're in the game and you unfortunately or fortunately are in the suck, right? You're in the first 5 years. What better place to be around than other people that are in the suck with you, and also around people that have gotten out of the suck. They're in this 8, 10, 12, 15 years. I'm building something that will hopefully exceed last year's event. We also have the school accountability group. Shout out Frank, Old Guy REI, for yesterday's 3.5 hour accountability group. I could not imagine talking for 3.5 hours. That would hurt my throat. These are just some of the topics they covered. Comparing property management fees. They gave some love to Coach Carson, which is a good friend of the channel and friend of mine. Talked about what high salary W-2 folks do as they look at retirement. So again, get your butt to Vegas, join school. We have 114 people on the school map, making it easier and easier for you guys to network and the like. And of course, if you want to, do something good for yourself at the end of the year, you could buy my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. I will throw in, lots of goodies like a boot camp and replay of last year. And we're doing some pretty cool stuff here. So guys, have fun. Take care of yourself. Again, remember, 2025 is going to be rough for a lot of people, not for us. 2025 will go down as probably one of the better years for the ORaaT family. As long as you have a buy box, discipline, disrespectful offers, follow up, cash flow day one, it's going to be unfair how much we dominate if we do the work. It's just going to be unfair. Nobody's going to be able to touch this community. We're going to get deals of the lifetime. We're going to get deals of the year. Just do the work. Later.